It was a good episode. Like the entire thing, like I really, really like seeing other sides of the story and kind of getting it from like I felt like Dr. Pershing was a very neutral body in this, where he didn't really have any affiliation or any type of loyalty, and just kind of seeing it from a neutral standpoint, life on Coruscant, and then just trying to figure out where you fit in the world, and trying to figure out like what's good and what's bad, and trying to do like what's best, and and being told no with you like for what your passion is and things like that. Like it was really interesting to see all of that kind of like wrapped up in this episode. And even though Dr. Pershing's story might be over with how this ended, getting to see again more sides of the story and filling in those gaps and getting to see the stuff that we've always wanted to see, like more of Coruscant. Like in between Andor and Mandalorian, now we've seen more of Coruscant than we did in any of the movies,
Yep.
which is awesome and appreciated because Coruscant is such an interesting planet. What did they call it, Kevin? A what's
EQ somethingopolis.
is
Where
something Opolis? Yeah, I
the
mean, like,
whole planet's a
I've
city.
never heard that term, but like, yeah, the entire planet is a city, and the only time that's ever brought up is Episode 1 when you see Coruscant for the first time, and the pilot for I forget the pilot's name, the pilot for Padme's ship, and is like the entire planet is one big city. You know, like that's the only time you ever really hear about like the intricacies of Coruscant, and then we were gonna get 1313, and then like that got scrapped. And then Coruscant again, he was only highlighted in SWOTOR. They're like
Ecumenopolis. It is a real
Ecumenopolis.
world city, is the Greek translation.
The entire planet is one big city. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just like for me, I really appreciate that. Like getting to see the ISB agents and buildings. Getting to see like the more than just the Jedi Temple and the theater and Parliament. Like that was it.
The only other planet I know of is Nar Shaddaa, which is the Casino Hut planet. It's the moon,
Yeah.
where it's just one giant Las Vegas planet. Um, so I like seeing it in the different time periods too, to see how each regime is treating it.
Yeah.
Because it's at the end of the day, it's just rich people don't really change their lifestyle no matter who's in charge. It's
You're
the
right.
outer
No,
rim, the mid
you're right.
rim. They see, like that guy said, like, oh, it doesn't matter, but the outer rim, the mid rim, they're the ones that see the effects
I,
more than anyone.
I don't know. Everyone was really happy when the Emperor died, though. At the end of Episode 6, they had a whole celebration. They ripped his
Like I
statue
said,
down. There was fireworks. Just saying.
he was the most oppressive by far. And I'm sure, the things that he dissolved the Senate, that was not a good move on his part, and then a lot of the edicts that came down after that were pretty fascist. So even if you're rich and on top and it's not affecting you too much, you're still watching it all play out, and you're probably really, I mean, like, glad that guy's gone. So it's more along those lines than it was a direct effect on their daily lives, as opposed to the folks in the mid rim seems to suffer more than anyone, because a lot of times they don't make it out to the outer rim, or they don't have enough resources to go
And they're
out to the outer
stuck.
rim. So it's the mid rim planets that suffer more than anyone in the core worlds.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's at the end of the day, it seems like to an extent it doesn't really matter who's in charge.
Yeah.
And that's that's what makes Star Wars so great, and that's why you said it's like Game of Thrones. Is the politics. We have space magic, but there's just so much good political.
Oh, so much.
In all eras of Star Wars, in all of them, it's so good.
This is what happens when you kind of tweak the storytelling a little bit and you make it a little bit more adult or a little bit more mature. And like you take away kind of just like the good versus evil space magic stuff. Like, because like I don't think you could really get into this in a 2-hour movie. You would lose people. But in a show, you can get away with this, especially the way that they open with Mando, they end with Mando, because that keeps everybody. It keeps them, even though they know that this story was going to be slower than others. It was a really important story to tell for the overall Star Wars, I think, universe. And so like that was even the way that they did this was really, really smart. And I don't think you'd be able to do this type of storytelling through a movie. So like good on them for being able to do this in the 55 minutes that we had. Like it was really, really well done.